How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Fourever Arsenal podcast. We're a man down, similar to the club, really. We're more than a man down, but
More than a man down, mate.
Man down,
yeah,
man down.
but not similar to the club. We've got a strong front three to represent Fourever Arsenal today, or tonight. Obviously,
Well done. I like what you did there, Turkish. I like what you did there. I like that. I like
yeah,
that.
it's still strong,
like
man.
that.
Still strong.
Yeah,
Still
like
strong.
that.
We're good. We're good. Big up James as well. He's not doing too well at the moment. Under the weather. So, hopefully we'll see him back soon. Definitely by the next podcast, anyway. But we got me, Jordan, and Lee to enjoy. Hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Obviously, individual channels as well. Mr. Lee Judges TV. Whisper it loudly. Turkish and the Big Six. Show that individual channel some love too. And we move. I say we move. I don't know what we move on to because Liverpool have drawn. Havertz is out for the season. We've got Leicester away. I think it's only right to start with Havertz being out for the season. Me and Lee did get a chance to talk about that on the preview earlier today, which I think comes out later today because you're watching this tomorrow morning. Make that make sense. But Jordan, I haven't had a chance to talk to you about it yet. But yeah, we'll start with you, Jordan, this time. We're not off the back of a game. No need to ask Lee about the atmosphere. What do you make of the news? Havertz hamstring injury, then a day later it comes out that he's out for the season. He's torn his hamstring.
When it rains, it pours, boy. It's funny because, well, it's not funny, but I was on TalkSport do an Arsenal podcast called Inside Gooners, and they invited me on it last week. It was last week, and I was on there praising the fact that Havertz is he's probably the fittest player in the squad. And I asked those guys on the panel, in the 2 years he's been at the club, can anybody think of a time when he's been out injured? And then I think the closest we got was, I think Art De Roche, journalist, said that he missed a couple of games, I think last season due to illness, but he's never been out injured. And then I said, you just know what's going to happen next, right? You know what's going to happen. We're lacking in that particular part of the pitch. A guy that's never, for all of his faults, and he's got many faults, he's there. He turns up and he plays. And you know what's going to happen. It's going to happen. And then this kind of happens. You know me, Turkish. I'm not really one to kind of whine and complain about injuries. I'm very much of the kind of just crack on, get on with it. It is what it is. But for the sake of debating, and I'm probably going to say points that you guys are going to echo throughout the pod anyway, injuries happen, right? You do have to kind of just pull your big boy pants up and just get on with it. I hate crying about injuries. But these are injuries in a particular part of the pitch which we could have mitigated against had we done our job properly in terms of recruitment. You know, anybody can get injured, whether it's an injury because of an accumulation of games. Kai Havertz has played in the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup games, the Premier League, and the Champions League. All four competitions he's played in. He played a lot of football this season. I don't always kind of buy into the whole tiredness, players are tired narrative too much because just don't really buy it. But they're still human beings. And if you flog a guy in every competition, he's played pretty much every game. I don't know about you guys, but he doesn't get subbed very often. Have I got that wrong? I don't see him getting subbed on many occasions. When he plays, he tends to play 90 minutes. Whether the injury that is occurred, which is a muscle injury, you know, that can happen in training, that can just happen. But there's got to be a correlation with the amount of games he's played with the injury that he's got. If you're being rinsed, you're surely more susceptible to picking up an injury. So is it bad luck and it's going to happen at any point? Or is this the accumulation of bad planning? I don't know, but we're in a bad place. We're in a bad place because you think of the front three we're going to have to go with, Nwaneri, Sterling, and Trossard. I mean, that's a Carling Cup front three. Let's be honest. That's a Carling Cup front three. If that. So it's not great. I'm not happy about it. Mikel Arteta's under massive pressure now. I think we should speak about him a little bit. He and the club are under huge pressure because I was the one saying after the Man City game that for me felt like second banked. I'm not sure now. Newcastle, Man City, and Chelsea look like they're not serious in terms of going to another level of taking second from us, but Nottingham Forest could. So I'm not sure if top two is banked because defensively we're decent, we're good. up top we were poor with all of our guys. So now we're down to the bare bones. I do have concerns about where this impacts us for the course of the season. We'll talk about Liverpool, their result in a minute, but people talk about, oh, it's a good result for Arsenal. I'm not sure it is. And I just don't have any faith that Arsenal can put together a run.
Is that the narrative? I haven't checked. Is that the?
Seeing a few online, I'm just going by my anecdotal WhatsApp groups. Oh, it's a good result for Arsenal. I'm not sure it is. I think for anything to be positive today, Liverpool had to lose that match. It had to be 6 points. Okay, you can snip it. Even though it's only a point more, I just don't see Arsenal making up 7 points. So,
it makes it a 3-4 game swing. That's what it makes it happen.
Yeah. I don't get it either. I don't think a draw is a good result, but on the Havertz thing, yeah, it's a result of bad planning, maybe a little bit of bad luck. Last year we were pretty fortunate with injuries. This year it's a combination of bad planning and bad luck.
That makes it worse. Last season we was pretty fortunate with injuries, hence why this season was somewhat to be expected. You know, it's not often you get seasons like we did last season when your most important players play 98% of the games. Do you get it? So the fact that we went on in the summer, got rid of 4 attackers across the midfield and the forward positions, only brought in 1 on deadline day, and then thought that was acceptable. Like, of course, there's bad luck involved. Odegaard, few months. Saka, more than a few months. And then a combination of attackers all at once. It was a combination of defenders all at once at the start of the season. It's just that defensively we're well versed and recruited to deal with it. So we dealt with it. But now it's being exposed, the other side of things, the side of things that it's all good and well ignoring when, things are going well and we're scoring goals. But in the summer, when you look at what they took away, pretty much everything that we all wanted to take away, but we all wanted it to be replaced with something more than we was getting from the 4 players that went: Emil Smith-Rowe, Vieira, Nketiah, and Nelson. As much as we wasn't getting the most out of them, we was getting something out of them. To let them go, then rely further upon Saka. You mentioned saying on TalkSport, Havertz has been robust, and Arteta said it last week. He said Havertz has been robust. We know how to manage him. That's what he said. But we used to say this about Saka until the injury. Saka played how many games in a row before that injury? And I'm not saying our best players shouldn't play the majority of games. Of course, they should. But when you're playing the system that we're playing, where the intensity is so high and the workload requires an immense work rate, you've got to make up for that some way, whether it's rest time, rest down periods between games, or whether it's rotation, heavy rotation. We did neither, to the point where we're doing intense training in Dubai. I get that. I don't mind that. This ain't a holiday. Like we said last time, I don't want it to feel like you need to be, but our attack is threadbare at the moment. We couldn't afford any more injuries. And to be honest with you, as much as I don't like what Havertz is producing for us, or has produced for us since signing, for what the value is, one thing I can say is he works hard. He gets himself about, and he is a battering ram.
Turkish, I mean, it's not going to be, again, a popular view, but in the last 2 seasons, after Saka, he's been our best attacker. I know there's things we don't like about him. I know that we need to level up from him to go to another level. But if you're being just statistically factual, he's been our best attacker in the two seasons.
Okay, statistically, and even there's an argument all round as well. I'll give you
know what I mean?
Trossard probably makes an argument in there as well, somewhat. But
yeah, and just before Lee comes in, sorry, Turkish. I don't know if I said it on one of the last pods, but I've been definitely thinking it. I was of the mindset that if I'm the club, I'd be telling. They're talking about Saka coming back in April and all that. I'd be telling Saka, we'll see you in July. Go and have an extended period. Go and get right. Go and have a long holiday. Have a long, proper full season, pre-season. Season's kind of done. We'll see you in July. We need you next season, 100% ready to go. You're our guy. Just let him have just let him go. I don't think you can't do that now. And now we have to rush Saka back, which is going to impact, I think, his.
We can do that. We're going to be out of it by the time we'll be out of this before Saka's back.
No, true. No, but what I mean is that we're going to have to rush Saka back, and in a way that I don't think we really want to be rushing him back, just because we're light on bodies. And I think that goes against what I would have liked to have seen happen, which is Saka's played 2.5 years of football non-stop for club and country. There's a World Cup next season. There's a lot of football coming his way. I would have just been like, you know what, Saka, just go and have 2-3 months off and then come back in July, ready to go, and we go. But now they're going to have to rush him back. They're going to have to rush him back.
Well,
that's just my view.
If we're in the Champions League quarters, yes. But Premier League, if we're out of it, if it's more than 7 points come April, no point in bringing him back for Premier League. But Champions League quarterfinals, if we're there, then
semis. I would do a semis. If we get to the semis, I'd be like, okay. I wouldn't for quarters, but that's just but semantics. We're just kind of splitting hairs here. But yeah.
Lee, what are you thinking, man?
Sorry,
well,
Lee,
what I'm thinking is, it's a delicate, like, how can I say, it's a delicate situation, but at the end of the day, it's the club have failed. They failed, failed in all sorts of ways for me. A massive club like Arsenal, it's failed. And listen, injuries can happen at any stage. It doesn't matter what you do. You can prepare right for it. You can rest. This takes Saka. The game against Crystal Palace, he's on the bench for that game. He then plays in the league game and he does his hamstring. So he's been rested in the week. It still happened. Martinelli's now gone down with a hamstring injury. Has he played week in, week out and had the minutes that Havertz has had? No. So there's no real pattern for anything. You know what I mean? Like Havertz has been running to the ground, hasn't got injured in any of that, takes his fishing rod to Dubai and he's injured, it's just ridiculous, so there's no pattern for it of whatever you want to look at it you have a look at Havertz, he's been there, apart from the illness that he had, he's been there and there, and then he goes down in training. So at the end of it, you can't, what's the word? Plan for it. It's a little bit of lady luck every time you go out. You don't know. It's just we've all played football. One time you telling me that when you've got an ankle injury or a knee injury, we picked up when you've had a kick or it, you've done things differently that week to what you've done the week before. No, it's just luck. It's just the way it is. So you have to bring that into your plans. It has to be there. You've left yourself short. All right. Now, listen, I get it to a certain degree. If you've got players and whatever, and we've now, as the window shuts and you lose 2 players like we have done, you can turn around and go, do you know what? That is so damn unlucky, Or you can look at it on the other way, that your star striker, your best player in the team goes down 2 weeks or 10 days before the 9 days, I think it was, before 10 days before the window opens. Well, okay, listen, if you're going to have an injury and your star player is going to go down, let it be at the beginning of the transfer window, not at the end or when it's shut. So I look at that and think, God's been kind to us. Then you lose another striker halfway through that window. So that's 2 down in the transfer window, and the ludicrous decision is taken by whoever to shut the window and then what's it like, playing Russian roulette with it, it's a gamble. It's a gamble. And then what I look at it and go, right, okay. So people go, well, we're still in the league. We're still in the Champions League. No reason to moan. We've actually lost 2 more players since that, in Martinelli and now Havertz, without playing a league game and without playing a Champions League game, because the game that Martinelli went down was a League Cup game that we're out of, and we're out of we're out of the League Cup as well, and we're out of the FA Cup. In January, it's been a great month for us. We didn't get anybody. We had 2 injuries, or one just before the injury, and then we've had to see ourselves go out of 2 cups. Well, that's all right. We can have a rest. We ain't got a game in March. We haven't got a game in so and so. And for me, I'm not stupid enough to sit here and say, Arteta and the club, you're bang out of order for not getting the £100 million striker that we all know we want and need and whatever. I get that it's mission impossible in January. I get that. But you telling me there weren't some backup players we could have brought in We could have brought a couple of him on loan. I've seen other players like Aston Villa, Tottenham, who moan and moan and moan about their board, bringing in loan players and buying players. You know, I'm not saying that they're ideal. I'm not going down that route and saying it is ideal. But what it is someone extra. We have now got no backup players for the rest of 14 league games and how many Champions League games we're going to have. So 2 more Champions League games. 10 minutes from the end, we might be 1-0 up. We can't rotate them off because we haven't got anybody. We can rotate them off and put on defensive players. But what happens then if the team scores and what have we got? It's just, I just cannot believe that a football club as big as Arsenal could go along with this. And whoever sanctioned this should be getting out of the door straight away. And I don't care what anybody says. Well, I feel sorry for Mikel. He's part of it. He's part of it. You know, the club lost millions and millions of pounds on Aubameyang because of his decision. So at the end of the day, they're not going to be skinflinting if he turns around and says, I want this player, I want that player. And I'm pretty sure they've tried to get that player and they've tried to get that player. But we can give you this, Mikel. No, he's not what I want. I need a Pacific player. Well, in the end of it, you've got nothing now. Absolutely nothing. And I think as a fans, we are entitled to have a moan about that, like, you know what I mean? Because it's just not what other teams. I'm looking at other teams. Everybody's strength. Manchester City, 6 players they brought in this window. All right, they need them. Yeah, maybe it ain't going to make a difference. But then, you know, I look at it today and you see Liverpool have lost and all that. Like, it's down to 7 points now. It might have happened if we'd have got a bit of pressure on them and all that, like, you know. Now, listen, I'll say this now, and it is you've got to try and be upbeat if you can be or whatever. Mikel now has got to find a way, whether it's a new system, being George Graham-like 1-0 wins for the Arsenal in the next 14 games. He's got to do it. He has got to find a way of doing it. No excuses, no nothing. Get yourself on that training camp, get yourself on the field and work out how you are going to get 14 wins out of 14. That's what he's got to do now. And the players have got to go with it. I think I feel let down, dejected by what's happening in the transfer window. Not about what we've been doing and whatever, and that we've gone out of the 2 cups. That's bad enough and disappointing as it is. I'm still proud of the team, the way that they've battled to get themselves into this second position against the odds with injuries after injuries. Because let's face it, you know, my mum's not great on football and educated on football. But I took her to the airport the other day and she turned around and said, do you know what you're missing? You know you're missing, didn't you? So I said, oh, what's that, Mum? She said, Saka. I said, yeah, you know, not everybody loses their, you know, it ain't rocket science. You lose your best player. It's very, very difficult to. We've managed to do that and keep ourselves going. So there's got to be a little bit of credit there, what we've done. And I just feel I feel like I do, boys, what are the players feeling like? And if I was a player, I'd be let down by it all and all, like, you know what I mean? That's how I feel. I feel so worried about what's going to happen with the players as well, like that we know that can play for any club in the world.
Can I ask you guys, because I was thinking, you know, the board, it'd be nice the board to come out and communicate their rationale or their plan to the fans. But I wonder if you guys think that if they did that, is there anything the board could say that would make you think, okay, I understand why you didn't make a move in January, or even back into summer, or is whatever they could say would just make the situation worse than saying nothing? Would it be worth them saying anything, or is there anything they could say where you'd be like, actually, okay, I'm not happy, but I understand it. Nothing they could say. No.
Before coming, because like me and Turkish got different views on this on the summer one. I understood it a little bit, and I can turn around and say, yeah, I can see why we didn't go for this and get for that on the back of what we done last season. I can see reasons. I can see this. I can see that. I cannot see one reason whatsoever that you do not bring in anybody in this January window when you've got players going down, you've got 14 cup finals and a Champions League to go through, like, you know, and a chance to win the league. There's no rhyme or reason why they have not. It's sackable offences for everybody, like, you know what I mean? I'm done with you know, Josh and that, they've sort of made me believe a little bit, like, you know, I'm done with them all. They have let us down tenfold.
See, I'm the opposite, Lee. I'm actually more angry about the summer window than this one, because my thinking is if they'd have gone a little bit further, you know, pushed the ball out a little bit in the summer, there wouldn't have been a necessity to then make moves in January. And then even if, let's say by some freak between the summer and January, we got 4 attackers out, 2 or 3 of those are summer signings, and they didn't make a signing in January, we'd all be a bit disappointed, but we'd all have to say, well, they did actually stock up in the summer. So the numbers are there. We're just unlucky that we've had 3 or 4 key injuries. So not do anything in the summer and not do anything in the January window for me is just weird. And I'm just wondering if there's anything. I'm trying to think of this and I'm trying to be fair and just put myself in their shoes. What is the rationale? Because they must see the squad is down to the bare bones. They've known this. So for them to not have reacted in January, there must be a reason. There must be a reason.
But they're on target, though. That's their target is make Champions League money. But that's the reason. They didn't give up. You know, this notion that they gave up the season in January. No, they haven't. They're on track. They're on track. So for them, it's not giving up. They're on track. For them, if it was 6th, 7th, then it's a case of, for them, off track. So what do? Sign, put pressure on the manager. What is it? Because it even came out, we could spend 150 million and still be within our PSR limit or whatever that nonsense is. 150 million we basically saved in this financial year. Like, how then in January they feed us the right person. Was Sterling the right person in summer? No, but they're gonna try use this excuse for January. Oh, it's a difficult market to work in January. What about the summer just gone? What about the summer just gone? You're talking about that you picked up the phone to Sterling and you knew straight away, yeah, he's coming in. And then we did a whole nonsense video about I'm back, or I'm going to be back with him. This club's this club, yeah, under this ownership, it's a joke. I'll be real with you. And people might think this is so we're in a much better place than we was 3 years ago, but we've been in this place before. I mean, we're probably playing at a higher level than any of those other times during this Emirates era. I'll give Mikel that and the players that. But in terms of getting to the line and not getting over it, this ain't the first time. It's not the 4th time. This coming summer, Man City are going to invest more. Liverpool are coming off the back of literally a clean slate over the last few windows. New manager, clean slate. They're going to win trophies. That's plural because the League Cup as well is there for them. Come on, and we're just, we get offered Watkins with 4, 5, 6 days to go. We get offered Watkins, and we say, all right, 40 mil. Does that sound like a serious club? That's not a serious club. You identify who you want, and you go get him. That's a serious club. Even this talk of Sesko. What are you saying? We spoke to Sesko. We was close to signing him. And he decided to re-sign with RB Leipzig. And you think I want to hear Sesko's name again? Oh, but it's all right. We're going to wait for him. Wait for who? Sesko. Who the fuck is Sesko? But that's what we're going to wait for. Apparently. The summer, we probably won't sign him. We'll probably go sign someone else. Because all of that shit is just noise around the, copium to make ourselves feel better. Unprecedented summer. It's war chest. We've heard war chest many times before. Many times before. I'm wondering where that war chest is. It must be at the bottom of the deepest ocean because we haven't seen that war chest. And it first came about in 2010. Talk of war chest in the summer. Now it's unprecedented summer. You know what unprecedented summer is? 300 million spent minimum. That's unprecedented. Bringing in a winger, striker. Bringing in another midfielder. It might be Zubimendi coming in. Bringing in another 8 because you fucked up the 8 a couple of times already. There's no way we go into next season without an unprecedented summer. And I've never seen an unprecedented summer from these lot. Never.
Well,
The Rice one in isolation is a massive feat. But that summer, we still spent, what, just under 200 mil? It wasn't like we was, or just over. It wasn't like it was mad. We've never done this before.
on that point, in terms of an unprecedented summer, do you guys think that this is the end of the 5-year cycle, and next summer is going to have to be the start of a new 3-year one? Let me put some context into that. When you think of the amount of players that are going to be leaving the club this summer, there's possibly 6 or 7 that are going to be going out. A couple of those are probably like first team, or in fact, no, all of them are first team or like regular off the benches, right? And I just wonder if those players go out, if this summer's gonna trigger the start of a new era, a new process. And we have to acknowledge that 5-year process didn't work, didn't deliver, didn't happen, got close, but ultimately wasn't quite good enough. Partey's probably going to go this summer. In fact, I think he will go. He was part of our 5-year process. He's going to move on. Zinchenko will probably go. Kivior might well go. Jesus, if we can get him fit for the summer, he'll be moved on.
No.
What do you guys think? There's going to be wholesale changes that actually change a large makeup of the 11? Almost starting again is kind of what I'm asking you.
No. I don't accept starting again. You need to get over this season's a failure if we don't win anything, let alone next season. I don't buy into that it starts again in the summer or a new cycle starts. Nah, finish this cycle, whether it's you or someone else that comes in. Finish the cycle.
But can the cycle be finished can the cycle be finished though if 2 or 3, 4 players that are part of this process aren't here and have to be replaced?
I know we're done. But we're talking Saliba here, maybe 2026. We're talking Saka or maybe Odegaard or Gabriel. Those are the players. None of them are, in my opinion, none of them are going to be leaving this summer. So I don't see this summer as that summer. I see this summer as, I don't know what I see this summer as, if I'm honest with you, because it's already
never finished. Let's get that right. It's never finished. If you was to win the league next season, you have to move on again. You have to rotate a few players in and a few players out and go again. You know, that you know, one of my managers always said to it that, you know, you get on the bus, you start at the bus there, it's where you get off. You know what I mean? There'd be plenty of players getting on and off before you do it, but there'll be one time when you get off the bus, and that's you done. And that's how it is. It's the ride. You keep going and going and going, and this certain ride is at this bus stop coming up now. There's a few getting off, and my God, there better be a few getting on. I'll tell you that now, like, you know, at the end of the day, you know, because what we're having at this moment in time is a lot of people getting off the bus and not getting on it. And
an already light squad. Well, we went into the season with 22 players, right?
We probably, like, you know, again, the club would look at it and go, do you know what? And I'll give a little bit of sympathy for Mikel at times. You know, he's in one of his seasons, he's had COVID. Another season he had a first with the World Cup. Another one this time with a different World Cup format. You know what I mean? You didn't really know how to negotiate it, how it was going to be, what sort of games it's going to be. Well, he knows now that you need a big squad to go through in these competitions. I think we really knew that you needed a big squad anyway, but like it's nailed on that you do now. And I think that listen, how can I say? I've never felt this down for a very, very long while, and I'll tell you why. It's nothing to do with winning or losing, like, you know, because I've been going to games when I've known that we're never going. I've started off seasons knowing that we're never ever going to win the league. You know what I mean? And the best hope we could get was a top 4, but I'd still keep going and going. I felt that these last couple of seasons we really genuinely had a chance of winning the title. And I really, really genuinely feel that that's what the club wanted. this January, on the back of the summer, I've realised that it ain't they don't want it. They don't want to win the league. They're not bothered if they win the league. They're bothered if they get top 4, but I don't think they're bothered about winning the league, because if you really, really wanted to win the league, you'd have pushed the boat out to try and get it. Maybe in the summer, as you're right, Jordan, like, you know what I mean? They should have gone and got the big signing in the summer, like, you know. Maybe it was Arteta saying to him, well, I don't actually need that, like, you know. Now, he's put his cards on the table in press conferences over the last couple of weeks. Yes, I knew. Whenever I said I don't need a striker, well, you haven't said it, but you haven't bloody well gone and done it. He's always gone out there and bought different sort of striker. He hasn't gone and got what I call a striker. He's gone and got Jesus, who's a forward / can play on the wide, but he hasn't gone and got that out-and-out forward that we know that can take us over the line. Now, what hurts me, I don't know about if it hurts other fans or you guys as well, is that when 4, 5, 6 years ago, watching Liverpool, do you know what? If Liverpool got themselves a goalkeeper and a centre-half, they'll win this league. What do they go and do? They go and get a goalkeeper and a centre-half. They win the league, win the Champions League. The rest is history. I look at Arsenal, I'm saying we need 2 players. I've been saying it for 2 years now. We need 2 players. If we get those 2 players, if we'd have got those 2 players, we could be winning the league and everything like that. But we've not. We've tried to do it a different way. Listen, I'm not having a go at the club for that, because they've tried. But when it really mattered, the chips are down at this moment in time. You've shown your hand. And we always have said that, boys. We've always said it, like, you know, the club will show their ambition in these transfer windows. We've all said it. I've got mates that have backed Arteta and backed the club in my WhatsApp groups now. I can show you them and all that now. Like, one of them who's very, very positive. I can't lie. This is a shambles. This is, you know, the fans now are starting to see the reality. Mm-hmm. And the reality ain't good, boys. And I don't want to see it getting a little bit toxic and things like that at the club, where people are going to go against each other and everything like that. Like, you know, what's happened in this window, you cannot defend. It'd be fascinating to see what he's going to come out with on Friday. Fascinating what he's going to come out with. But at the end of the day, going into next season now, we should be on a high of maybe winning the league and whatever. The pressure on that manager is going to be relentless next season, because I'll tell you why, on two counts. If we get the players in that we all want and he still doesn't get the results that we feel that he should be, he's under massive, massive pressure. And if he doesn't get it, oh my God, he's still under pressure. Like, you know what I mean? If we don't get what we want, it's just, you know, I can't, all that work and hard work that Mikel's put in over the last couple of years to bring the feel-good factor back at this football club, it could deteriorate in a few months now. And that is down to sheer negligence by this football club. And I don't know who it is, the owners, the manager, someone has got to be made accountable for this, which has got to be the worst January in the club's Emirates era, as far as I'm concerned, because it's not only gone out of 2 cups, it's what we could have had, boys. It's what we could have had. We could have had the Premier League. That's the heartbreaking thing about it. You know, we had the Premier League in our stadium last year. We had a chance to win it this year.
Of course we did.
Liverpool are not Manchester City prime. They're not. They get over the line, and congratulations that they will do. But like we could have took them. We could have took them.
What
we chose not to.
What if one more goes down?
One more player,
attacker.
Oh, we're done already, bro. What do you want?
No, we are. But I'm just thinking in terms of.
Well, I'm thinking there is the free market now. You can buy it. You can go and get someone free, but they can't play Champions League football, but they can play Premier League.
That's like a millionaire going in the car boot sale. That's embarrassing. We have to pick up frees. Because I'm just thinking of the team on the weekend. Is there going to be an attacker on the bench?
No.
But that
And
Butler,
if one,
Deji, innit?
oh come on, and then funny you mentioned him Turkish because my concern now is for Ranieri because we're gonna have to rinse him. This kid, you've made the point several times, Turkish. This kid was meant to play 10, 15 games this season, max, across all competitions. He's got to play now every single game. And then how does that impact on his development? It's so bad. We got Sterling through
we
the
ain't got many
middle.
games left, 14 plus 2 in the Champions League. Probably
Yeah,
4.
True, but by the looks of it, he's got to play all of them.
Yeah, but have you seen our March? 2 games in March.
Jeez.
We got 2 games in March.
We'll get Martinelli back by the end of March. So we've got to get through Leicester, West Ham at home, Nottingham Forest away, and then Martinelli comes back, and then he can go down the middle. It may be like the making of him. Who knows? Sometimes a lot of people have been crying out for him to go down the middle. Well, that can well happen. So we've got to navigate through these 3 games somehow, and I don't care if it's what Mikel's got to do now is just right 0-0. Make sure we don't concede. Maybe get a set piece in all 3 games and just get those 9 points on the board somehow by hook or by crook. Then Martinelli comes back. It won't be as bad with him back in the thing because you've then got a backup and you've got a little bit of rotation in there.
But Lee, sorry to cut you again, but I mean I've been praising his last few performances because they've been better. But let's not pretend like Martinelli's been him back in the team. It's not a significant. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's wishful thinking.
I'm not with all due respect.
Someone's got to step up, Jordan.
Yeah.
Got to step up.
Do you two think we're getting 9 points in the next 3 games?
No. Who is it? Leicester
away, West Ham at home, Forest away.
No, I don't.
And that will be over and out. Like I keep telling people, 14 games left of the season, and it's already a 3-4 game swing with Anfield. This season's coming to an end, beginning of April. And
do you know what's Turkish? Sorry to cut you again. I keep cutting you guys off this week. Do you know what's really, really frustrating as well? Liverpool have got Wolves on the weekend. They'll probably win that. They then go to Villa away, City away, home to Newcastle. There's points they're going to drop there. They're not going to win all 4 of those matches. And I keep saying it. All Arsenal had to do was just hang on. Just keep as close to Liverpool as possible with results and protecting players. And it's going to be demoralizing when we see Liverpool drop points in these next 4 games, and then we drop points because we're not ready. We're not equipped. We're not managed well enough to be able to put together a run. Just saying.
Yeah, it is. That's the thing. We're not equipped. We're not equipped now to go all those games. We ain't. Somewhere along the line, there's a a slip up. I watched Trossard, Sterling, and Wanyeri play against Girona, and we did get the win. We was 2-1 up, but I looked at that and I was saying, I actually said, we've got to make sure Havertz doesn't get injured because we haven't got enough strength, power. It looks a bit lightweight. And Trossard worked hard on that, but he's just lightweight in that role. You know what I mean? 2 big centre halves and all that. And people will say, well, Havertz is the same. I agree. We need to improve on that as well. But, this is a massive thing. Listen, I also got to say this. Our people know, and they might be right, that he's out for the whole season straight away without even if they've done the scans over in Dubai or whatever like that. No one knows yet what is the intention. It could be that he could be out for 5-6 weeks, and we could manage to get back in it. I don't know, but why these stories come out, and 9 times out of 10 they're normally always right as well, aren't they? So, but I don't know how.
I'm just thinking about the fact that we're going to have Sterling as our striker for the next few weeks. It's so bad.
So did we trust
It's so bad. You think?
Yeah. Trossard, Sterling left, Ranieri right. Don't forget Arteta said in January, Ranieri false 9.
Yeah, also Marino, I think, has got to come into that call. We was talking about it earlier on. I know you're going to laugh at this, and I'm probably everybody will do. He's probably the nearest thing to Havertz, strength-wise, physicality-wise.
I don't know if that's a compliment or not.
No, I don't. Well, listen, you know, I mean, Havertz has done okay for us. He's not done what everybody wants him to do, but he hasn't been as bad as what has been made out. Like, you know, he's missed a lot of chances. I'll give you that. But he's always been there. He's always been involved in things and whatever, and been there to miss those chances as well. So I don't know. I you know what I mean? Like, you're talking about playing midfielders up front, kids up front. This is Arsenal Football Club.
Phase 5. Welcome.
Do you know when we won the league?
Phase 3.
Do you know when we won the league back in the day? Like, you know,
which one?
Well, go back to 2004 or 2002, whatever. Like, Henry was our main striker. Backing that up was Wiltord, Carnu. You know, like, that's what you had. You know what I mean? Now we've got nothing. Absolutely nothing.
The point is, it's a good point you made there, Lee. Turkish said it earlier on in the pod. The way football is now, strikers and attackers are being asked to do so much more running than they were 15 years ago. It's part of the reason why Salah has been able to have so much longevity in that loop, because he's never been expected to run backwards and defend. But most attackers, top teams in particular, you have to run more. You have to run. And that means you're going to get more injuries, you're going to get more tired, more fatigue, right? So therefore, you have to have the players. You have to have, even if you play one up front, you've got to have 3 strikers in your squad. You've got to have 3 strikers in your squad. You just have to. And for us to have, I mean, I don't think we've got one. Have we got one striker in our squad? We haven't got a striker.
No.
We haven't got a striker. Who's our striker in our squad? We haven't got one striker in our squad. So I'm not really against the whole idea of playing Havertz as like a deep lying striker and then having Jesus as a false 9. I'm not necessarily against that, but you've got to have one guy in your squad that is just a number 9 that can do the thing in the box. You've got to have that in your squad, and to not have anyone in your entire squad that's a striker is negligence. It's negligence. It's negligence, man.
Though, man. Like, so it's just like tiring. That. So I say, this story ends the same way most of them have ended in this Emirates era, and that's us losing our best players and feeling that heartbreak, heartache, frustration, anger, and then reload the next generation for the next dreams and lies, and in turn nightmares. But Leicester away, midday kickoff.
Sorry, Turkish. Sorry, you got me thinking again about the longevity of our stars and a new cycle possibly. It's going to be so different. This is the summer where the club are supposed to go to Saliba, Saka, and Odegaard and say extension time. 2 years before. They always say 2 years before is where you make a decision. We're going to sell you or we're going to renew your contract. They can't, unless they're going to come with Isak and a whole bag of man, they can't do that this summer. They can't, because if I'm Saliba, I'm saying, okay, if I'm signing another 3-year contract, what's going on? What we saying? They can't do that. And then you go to next summer, where you've got now a year left and you're vulnerable. We've seen this film before. So it's really problematic that we're not doing the work we should be doing, because this is the summer. We chat about signing players. This is the summer you should be re-signing your current stars with 2 years to go, but we can't. We can't. The club can't move to Saliba. The club can't move to Saka. I'm like, let's talk in December. Let's talk next summer.
It's also the summer where it's also the summer they realize how much they fucked up with the Havertz deal, because when Saliba and all these players turn around and say 300k, please, and then they've got 4 players asking for 300k. We're not Real Madrid. We're not Manchester United. That's where it's gonna go pear-shaped, even more so than it is. It's sad, but it's true. Live through it. Been there, done that, people. Hopefully I'm wrong, but we'll see. Leicester away, midday Saturday. Are we, Jordan? Are you confident about it?
Leicester are pretty bad, but
Yeah.
we're not in a great position. I wouldn't say I'm confident. I think we'll win, but I don't think it'll be pretty. It's not going to be pretty.
Hasn't been pretty often this season, has it?
No, it hasn't. I don't know what to say, man. I don't know how we play this game. I don't know how Leicester might play this.
Do you change shape? Like Leon Preview talked about changing shape, and do you look at doing something completely different, or like how do you go about it now?
What kind of shape would you, or even you, Lee? What shape?
He said
what
4-2-3-1. I think Lee said.
Or 4-5-1 sort of system, like, you know, and then you can get one of the attackers on the bench for a backup, like, you know. That's what probably I would do.
Mm. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to changing the system. I think Leicester will be.
That attacker on the bench is Sterling, and he comes on and does fuck all. So,
that's true.
But you know, so, I know that. But sometimes if you're winning 1-0, 2-1, or 2-2, you can rotate off like Wanyeri a little bit, like, you know, and that's the only way I'm looking at it. Like, you know, maybe like hit teams on the counter attack. Suck them in and hit them on the counter attack with Wanyeri's pace and Trossard on the flanks. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like playing Trossard, I think you're going to have to play Trossard down as the holding, as the guy at the front of it all. Like, you know, I don't know. Like I really don't know. I don't know what he's going to do. You know, like I'm looking at solutions, and you know, my mate Adrian turned around and said today, put Calafiori up there, at least he can score a few goals. You know, we're in that sort of position now where it is desperation. I was saying this the other day, and I don't know if you remember this player called Paul Warhurst, who played for Sheffield Wednesday back in the day when we played him in the cup finals and that, like, you know. Well, he was a centre half, and they got an injury problem with Hurst. A couple of their players went down, and they chucked him up front, and he started scoring goals, and he stayed up front for the rest of his career, I believe. I think he went on to Blackburn and played for Blackburn.
He did.
Money for Blackburn, like, you know. So that's something that could happen. You know, it's not in the
Gabriel.
Possibly, yeah, Gabriel or whatever, like, you know. As I say, you've maybe got to do it for 2 or 3 weeks until Martinelli comes back. I don't know.
Lee, do you remember on the preview I said we're not scraping the barrel no more? Our hand is through the barrel now.
Yes, we've gone through the barrel.
That's what you're doing there.
You know, you're in the mud now, like, you know. So,
bro, our hands just through the barrel. It's finished, man.
Yeah. I honestly think we're done now. It's just a matter of when instead of if. You know what I mean? It's going to come down the line. If you look at the games that Arsenal have got in the next few games, you'd actually, like, can I dare say it? Probably like Leicester is quite favourable as they're bottom of the league, or one of the teams bottom of the league. You've got West Ham at home. You don't really know how that. Forest is going to be a difficult game with all your players playing. If I'll be really honest,
Man United
away after that. You know, so, and then Chelsea at home. And don't forget, when you play Chelsea at home, that Sterling can't play in that game.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit.
So you go down another striker on that game, like, you know. So
Saka's back by then.
Nah.
He's not,
mate. How you looking at it when Marino's up front, though?
Oh, jeez.
11:30 in the morning, we're going to see the lineup, and Marino's up top. We're just going to I don't know about Leicester, you know. Facing relegation-threatened teams this point of the season, it's not really the one, especially because Marino up top.
They'll take a point. Leicester will take a point on the Saturday, so they don't have to win the game. And a points terminal for us. Do you think? Last question for me. Do you think the guys will come back from Dubai, ready to go, refresh, had a little time out of the madness, or do you think the Kai Havertz news cancels that out and they'll come back feeling like, bloody hell?
Well, they know what it is, man. They know the season. As much as they
They'll
can
be a little bit fresher, wouldn't they? Because they haven't had a game for a week, but
they know. They know. They know.
Right.
All right. Well, I can't bring the table up because I can. Just covers Lee's face, which is not
that's
a bad
fine.
thing.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You can work with that.
There he is. The table is as is. Last time Jordan top, James second, Lee third. I'm in fourth. So Jordan, kick us off with your prediction for the Leicester game away, 12:30 Saturday.
Jamie Vardy was injured in the cup game against United. I don't know if he's back yet, but he loves scoring against us. He would love to end our season. He would just love to finish our season. I'm not confident. I'll go for a sneak it 2-1.
2-1 Arsenal. James has gone 2-0. Lee?
1-0.
Lee's gone 1-0. So 2-1, 2-0, 1-0, and I'm going 2-2. So that wraps that up. That's our predictions, people. Give us yours, comment section. And whilst we're on the comment section, comment of the day. Who's ready?
I got a couple. So I've got one here from what's her name? Lovely lady. I forgot her name. Lovely lady. I love this show as a Liverpool fan. Ideally, I'd want Liverpool to win the Premier League and Arsenal to win the Champions League. Jordan is a great guy, by the way. I enjoy his analysis of the game. He's very underrated. Thank you very much. I forgot to add your name there, young lady. Beautiful young lady. But thank you for that comment. And the other one was it was a question because I mentioned. Well, the person says, question for Jordan. You mentioned a few weeks back we are no pressure FC. Recent results have proved you perfectly right. Can I ask why are you still Arteta in when this has not changed in 5 years? I mean, it's probably part of a wider discussion we can have another time, but I'm not Arteta out because I just don't do the whole out in nonsense thing, first of all. But I don't think I'm done with him. I still think he can win us a trophy and a major. I think there's bigger issues around him that he's a part of that are contributing to why we're failing. But I still believe that he's a guy that I can still visualize him lifting a Premier League trophy with Arsenal. And until I can't visualize that anymore, I will still want this manager managing my football club.
That your comments of the day?
Mm-hmm.
I've got a couple here. Ryan said James in a beanie looks like Lee went back in time 25 years. That one's a good one. Sorry.
It was a very good one. That's my one. So
that was good.
Wilson.
And I've got a longer one here from Guna Duke, but I'm gonna stop after. I don't see the trip to Dubai as a reward, but something that is necessary. Look at what that necessity got us. It's funny because coming up to this year is give them a break, give them Dubai, because the narrative is that Dubai changed us last season. I wonder if people are going to be screaming for Dubai next January after it's pretty much ended us this season.
Well, hopefully not, because we're out of the FA Cup again. Listen, I got a lot of criticism for that on a clip because I said about that, but I actually said, if you read the whole clip, I was actually saying I understand the reasons why we're going, but it did seem like, we're going because, on the back of a failure, which it is. It wasn't like that last season. It was different circumstance because it was a winter break.
But also, Lee, people forget we've been to Dubai the last 4 years. I think people act like last year went to Dubai and all of a sudden we were amazing. We've been going to Dubai for a while.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that's anyway.
I'll say another thing that somebody asked me today, which is a good thing, right? I don't know if you guys know this, so I'll put it as a comment, without looking. In the advertising clip, the intro clip. What time's the clock?
What time's the clock? Interesting. We're going to find out.
I don't know. I didn't have a clue, you know what I mean? But, so if you do know it without looking, put it down and say what you think the time was.
Let's all have a guess. Let's us three have a... Well, Lee knows it now. But...
I know it now, but go on. You do have a guess.
I'm going to say 3 p.m.
Well, I'm thinking Ryan must have filmed that in the day, respectable hours. So 12 midday.
Ooh.
12. Lee gasped, so we know it's Jordan's closest. Well, we're gonna find out in a second, people. Before we find out, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Subscribe to Lee Judges TV. Whisper it loudly. Turkish L, the end, the Big Six, and obviously Gooniverse as well. Big up James, who's ill, but he'll be back next time, people. So hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Do all of them things.
James.
Big up, James.
Big up, James.
And we'll find out now.